This podcast is for entertainment and storytelling purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice. Some topics may be sensitive. Please listen with care and seek support if needed.
Hi, I'm Kristal Parke. Welcome to Season 2 of the Because She's Adopted podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Because She's Adopted, Season 2. Today we have a lovely guest. You might recognize him from my Instagram, from my film, from pretty well anywhere I am, he is there. Let's welcome Mr. Stewart Parke.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So I'm not going to read your bio, but do you want to just introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Am I allowed to look at the audience now or no? Am I talking to you? Hello, everybody.
You're just talking to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can talk to the listeners, like say, hey, listeners.
Hey, listeners. Yeah, well, my name is Stewart Parke. I am 45 years old this year, turning 46. I am a devoted husband to Kristal, father of 3 beautiful kids. My oldest just graduated this year. I am a project manager by trade. And yeah, I am not adopted.
You are not adopted.
I am not adopted.
Okay, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And you were with us on season 1, and we got a lot of great feedback from listeners because I think what you did was you really gave insight to what it's like to be married to somebody who's adopted and struggles with those abandonment kind of rejection stuff. You know, it tends to all kind of play out within relationship and that. But maybe we'll get into that later. Let's do some life updates.
Well,
I just want to say we have a graduate in the household now. We have an adult woman for a daughter.
yeah.
And she graduated from grade 12.
Yeah.
We just celebrated her graduation. Yeah, it's such a new phase raising like these teenagers, and you when they're little, you don't think that it's going to come very quickly, but then it comes just like that before you know it. And our oldest is going to be going to the University of British Columbia this
In the Okanagan.
fall in the Okanagan, and yeah, and then we've got our son's going into grade 10 and our daughter's going into grade 11, and our oldest obviously is driving now, and our middle one has her learners, and so it's just
She
really
drives the kids to school.
yeah, it's just a really different season in life for us now. Like,
But still,
I don't know.
she went to school early, so I had to drive the other 2 to school this morning. And I was dropping them off, and I saw her out front, our oldest, walking, and I tapped my horn a couple times, and I was probably like 200 feet away, and she looked, and she saw me, and she like ran to my truck, opened up the passenger side door, jumped in, gave me a big hug.
Peyton?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was nice. So they're always going to be, your babies.
I know.
I'm always going to be your daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different raising kids though, like I think than when our parents raised us, and we're sort of that first generation that raised kids that have had access to electronics since a very, very young age. And so it's almost like to try and discuss that with our parents, or I feel like they don't really fully understand the struggle it is to like parent kids with electronics. I mean, and don't like people say, oh, well, back in the day, like we had video games and
I
we
was
had
just going to
TV.
say that. I mean, boomers, definitely, their kids had, I was 7 or 8 when we got our first Nintendo. And yes, we wanted to play Nintendo, but we weren't,
It's
getting
different.
pressured on social media. We weren't getting bullied on social media. We weren't comparing ourselves to, Mario or Luigi. We were, so it's a lot different. And I've
And
have a
just
number of people in my life that are, newer parents or trying to be new parents and have asked me, your kids seem great. Any advice? And that's one of my first things is, keep your kids off screens as long as you possibly can. And, we tried as well with our kids for phones, and they were coming home and saying, oh, we're getting bullied because we don't have
a
phones.
phone.
We can't connect with other kids because we don't have a phone. And yeah, don't buy into that.
Well, there was so much pressure as a parent to get your kid a phone and to allow them to have all these different social media accounts, even when they were like quite young, like 8, 9 years old. And I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, are we doing the right thing? And then when we did give them like iPads and phones, I think there was a long period there where they weren't allowed them from Monday to Friday, but then we allowed them to have them on like Saturdays and Sundays, and that worked. I feel like that worked really, really
They would
well.
they would still try and, keep them and binge on them. And I mean, obviously we're not perfect. And I can remember there being times where like, oh, I just need a break. Like here's your screen, and it's just like, so.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I know.
In hindsight, it's just like, if we could have kept the, if I could go back, I would have just not even given them a phone until they were like 15, 16, something like that, right?
But then on the other hand, you want them to learn how to self-regulate with their phones, right? Like you want them to learn how to have that skill, but there's adults that can't even self-regulate with their phones. So how are these kids whose brains aren't even fully developed yet, able to manage their time and the like everything on a phone? And I don't know.
Totally.
We had firewalls and stuff up. Like we used Custodio, and we could see what each kid was like Googling or
I literally 30 minutes ago took off like the app that I use allows each kid like 4 hours of screen time a day unless, I give them more. And I literally just took it off Peyton's phone
because she's an adult.
Because
now.
she's graduated at an adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sent her a message. And oops, sorry, don't know how I feel about that, but
I know. Oh man. Okay. So do you want to have a little bit of fun and do?
Yeah. What kind of fun? I'm into fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I printed off like some rapid fire kind of questions that we can ask each other, and I don't know. I thought it might be fun.
Sure.
To do.
Yeah.
Okay, so
like it.
Let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do mine first. This is an icebreaker round. Okay, ready?
Yes.
What's something I do that always makes you laugh, no matter how annoyed you are at me in that moment?
Oh, so many things. That always makes me laugh.
If you're in a bad mood, though, nothing makes me laugh.
But I like when I come home or I come into a room and I go, Kristal. And no matter what, you always go, Kristal is here! Always, and it always makes me giggle, no matter what. Yeah?
Oh my gosh. Okay. What's one thing I say all the time that you secretly think is hilarious but would never tell me to my face?
That I secretly think is hilarious,
Yeah.
but I never...
One thing I say.
Like-
One thing I say or do?
that like is funny, or like funny, like it makes fun of you, like you're kind of dumb, that kind of funny.
Don't say things like that. People are going to think you're mean to me.
Everybody's seen your social media. They know who the mean one is in this relationship. Don't worry. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I don't know.
If I were a flavor of ice cream, what would I be and why?
You would probably be Rocky Road, because there's a lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs. No, a lot of ups and downs with you. The road isn't always just smooth and flat.
You're funny. Okay, if you had to pick one word to describe my driving, what would it be?
Perfect.
Thank you. I am a really good driver.
You really are, and it's annoying because I can drive anything.
Yeah.
I can drive fast in anything. I can run excavators and equipment, but I'm a bit of a distracted driver.
Yeah.
And it's a sticking point with us.
Yeah.
I get a lot of flack. However, she doesn't want to drive. And I always say, if you want, you can drive.
But have you noticed that I've been driving more lately?
Yes, that one time. Yes.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you go now.
That was it.
I'm not good with quick thinking answers, so.
Well, the first thing that you noticed about me was, but you were too nervous to tell me at the time. I'll tell you. So we had met, and I was working out of town, and we talked on the phone. And one of the first long conversations we had, right at the end of the phone call, she's like, hey, I think you have a really sexy voice. And then got embarrassed and hung up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So
I still think your voice is sexy.
thank you.
I do. I like your voice. Okay.
Moving on. So if someone asked you what you love most about me, what would you say?
I would say the thing I love most about Stewart is how you always make everything okay. Like, you're an excellent problem solver, and I always feel like no matter what happens, it's all going to be okay when I'm with you. That's why I like traveling with you, because you just I know everything's going to be okay.
Good.
Yeah.
The funniest misunderstanding we've ever had was when...
Oh, okay. I don't know if this is a misunderstanding, but this one time we were having an argument in your truck. This is when we first got together. And I don't know what it was about, but you took a $20 bill.
Didn't know what story you were telling.
And you were you looked me right in the eye, and you ripped it in half really slowly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what we were.
That. I don't know what we were arguing about.
Were we arguing about money? Maybe.
Probably, but for years after that, we would something would be piss me off or whatever, and Kristal would look at me and she'd go, "Rip."
And then we still have that $20 bill somewhere.
It would always lighten the mood though, and we'd always start laughing after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That was funny. The best advice we've ever ignored as a couple was...
The best advice we've ever ignored?
Yeah. The best advice... Premarital sex? Totally ignored that.
Yeah, totally ignored that. No, you know where people say, like, don't go to bed angry? I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because like there's times where like either one of us will need time to cool down and really think about what the issue was, and then I always find that we come back together and we talk in the morning over coffee, and like with a fresh head we're able to like resolve most things in that time. So
yeah, earlier on in our relationship, for a long time, if we did get an argument, I hated being in an argument with you, and I would come back very quickly. Not that I, before we went to sleep or anything like that. I just like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry or whatever, and like Kristal would be like, nope, I'm not ready to talk to you. And I think over the years, like I'm that way now. I could go to bed upset.
yeah.
But it's fine. We wake up and we usually have a clear head, and it's usually me who's in the wrong anyways. So
no.
Yeah.
But no, I know when you say that, it's interesting, because I feel like when we were first together, you were very anxiously attached. Like that was your attachment style, and I was very like avoidant attachment style, because I had just come out of a marriage that I was very anxiously attached in, and then I just
there was a lot of push-pull going on.
Totally.
That we talked about in season 1, push-pull going on with you to me, where you were at, and a lot of insecurities and stuff like that, and on my part. And so I think, there was. But
now I feel like, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Now I feel like I'm more anxiously attached with you, and you're more avoidantly attached with me.
I don't think it's avoidantly attached. I just think I'm very secure in our relationship, and I think that's a testament to you, not me. So it's making me feel like I'm not making you feel super secure in our relationship. Like I know where I stand. I know how much you love me. I know that no matter what,
love you,
we're gonna work through it.
Yeah, we will. All right. Did you finish your questions? These are not rapid fire questions. These are like, let's discuss these questions.
Yeah. Okay. The last question is, do you want to have another baby?
No.
I'm kidding. That's not a question. I'm done mine.
Okay. All right. No, I don't want to have another baby, but I am looking forward to a while from now being a granny.
A while. If you're listening, Peyton,
any of our children,
and Evie and Spencer.
We don't want to be grandparents yet.
No.
But
lots of time for that.
I am looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay, ready? If you could only save one, me or your favorite pair of shoes, who's getting rescued? That's a dumbass question.
That's a totally dumb question. My Jordans. No, of course you. Shoes are...
Oh my gosh, that's dumb. Okay. Who's more high maintenance, you or me?
I
would say you.
3 years ago, I would have said you. But yeah, I've always been kind of high maintenance. And even when, I'm a squeaky wheel, and I like
And you don't like to be uncomfortable.
No,
not at all.
But I do everything for myself too. Like, I'm high maintenance but to myself.
Yeah, like
Like
it's not like you're high maintenance and you make me
and
do
I
it
make
all.
I have expectations of everybody, doing like it's
No.
me, and I cater to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's one household chore you would love to outsource forever?
I don't know. I like doing everything that I do. Like I like.
Just like maybe just having a house cleaner forever?
Yeah, because I like.
I mean, because we still clean, like our housekeeper, she comes, but then we still clean every
and
day.
I I enjoy cleaning. I enjoy cutting the grass.
How about
I
like
enjoy
pulling my hair
I
out
enjoy
of...
yeah, there you go. That's right. Like, because even this morning, I finally got these like screens that go over the drain. And so now at least it's like just a collection point for me to clean Kristal's hair out. I used to have to like, collect it with a coat hanger down the drain or, on the wall or something like that.
I am not one of those people that puts hair on the wall. I do not. I rinse the walls.
No, but you
fully.
used to catch it. You would try and catch it from the bottom, and you wouldn't leave it in the tub, but you would put it up on the edge of the tub.
Okay, yes.
So I would take it from there and put it into the garbage. That last
Okay.
I don't know. There's a lot of we have some magic rooms in our house too. The kids and Kristal think that no matter what they put into our gym, which is our garage, it just magically disappears. Whether it's recycling or garbage or stuff to donate,
does.
It just they put it there and it magically goes away. So yeah,
Thank you, Stewart. Thanks for doing that.
Anyways, no, I like doing a lot of the stuff, but the hair for sure.
Okay, if you had to pick one food to eat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I really like burgers.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say steak.
Steak is, I like steak. Don't get me wrong, but I can get tired of steak.
Eating steak, yeah.
Burgers,
okay.
you could, I don't know. You could make a cheeseburger. You can make a bacon burger. You can put different sauces on your burgers.
All of a sudden are you saying burger?
I don't know.
Bacon burger. Okay. So, a hamburger. Okay. If you could swap bodies with me for one day, what's the first thing you would do? That is I haven't read these questions.
Yeah, I'm surprised. What's the first thing I do? That's kind
weird.
of a perverted question.
It is.
Because
Okay,
goes, yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one thing I do better than you? But you'd never admit it out loud. I mean, you admit everything, so.
Yeah.
Listen to the things you've said, even on this episode.
Yeah, I am who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd admit what you're good at. You're amazing at, you're a perfect driver to start. And you are really good.
It's one thing I do better than you.
Debater.
Ooh,
yeah.
Communicator,
yeah. You way better at that. You're way better at knowing what your needs are.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I'm still figuring out what my needs are. I know they include golf. Anyways, go on.
Okay. That's all I have on this for this one. What's the title of your round? Of your next round?
Tell me the truth.
Okay. Oh, I'll always tell you the truth.
Tell me the truth. What's one thing that I do that drives you absolutely crazy? I don't need to say the last part. I can adjust in my head the questions to make I did that for the first card.
Like horking. Like that. Like that. That is just, I hear you doing that in the mornings and it just grosses me out.
It gives you the ick.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I can tell by your face that you didn't know that.
No, it's just like, I'm sure there's things in relationships that people know the other person does and they just don't comment on it. Especially not in like a freaking podcast where like I'm sure at least 10 people are going to listen to it. So
sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. Okay, here. Okay.
I don't know if I want to ask any more of these.
Okay, I'll tell
No,
you.
Horking
No,
it is.
no.
It's in the
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell
in
you.
the history books.
No, I'll tell you. Walking around the house with your shoes on.
Oh,
that makes me crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know how dirty the bottom of your shoes are?
See, these are the things. If you ask me,
Nobody's asking you though. No, okay,
Like-
what?
she makes it out like she never walks around the house with her shoes on. You do. You do when it suits you. But then the rest of the time,
Yeah.
I'm an idiot for doing it.
No, you're not an idiot.
Annoying.
No, because you know what it is? I will walk around the house if
With your
I
shoes
know
on.
that the house is going to be cleaned the next
so
day.
like they're stipulated.
Right?
Okay, next question.
Okay.
If I were to write a book about our relationship, how about if
Yeah, you'd never write a
Yeah,
book. You don't even
I'm
read
not going
books.
to read a book. So if you were to write a book about our relationship, what genre would it be and what's the title?
It would be a graphic novel. No, I'm kidding.
Is romantic comedy a genre for books or is that a movie genre?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would the title be? It could be called something like Stew or Die. Something like that.
What did Spencer say our podcast should be called? Oh, All Park, No Bite. All Park, No Bite.
Whoa, were you just like, was that the big release? Like telling everybody that we're going to probably be starting our own podcast?
Maybe.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
What's one thing that you're great at, but I secretly think you could use some practice? Something that you think you're like great at, but actually, I don't really think so.
Singing?
I think you're a good singer.
I've
Sometimes,
really
yeah,
lost it.
You do, and I'm like, I thought, yeah, you're right.
I know, because you were like, when we
Did I
first
say
got
this?
when we first got together, like I sang all the time. You thought I had the most beautiful voice, and now
I still think you have a pretty voice, but
yeah,
you were taking vocal lessons when we
I
first
was,
met, though.
yeah. I know. I went back to my voice teacher that I had when I was like 10 years old, and when I was pregnant with our third child. His name's Barry.
Yeah.
And he was so good.
Yeah.
Loved him.
We could, yeah.
Love him.
We were living paycheck to paycheck and could, struggling to pay for diapers, but Kristal's taking vocal lessons.
Stop. Oh my gosh. I feel like we could take a compilation of every time I said stop to you in this.
Stop.
Stop. Okay. Are you done your questions?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ready? How well do you know me? What's my ultimate karaoke song? Bonus points if you can sing the chorus.
I've got you, babe.
That's our song.
Oh, your song?
No, but
you won't
that's
sing
fine.
karaoke on your own.
I know, we sing it together.
Yeah.
We always sing the Sonny and Cher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, if I suddenly became famous, what would it be for?
Yeah, something to do with film, documentary.
Okay. Not losing it in public?
No.
No, I don't do that.
No. I've only seen you like lose it, and not even really lose it, but like only a few times.
Yeah, there's been I don't.
One time a lady said something to me, and you like.
She said something to you.
Yeah, and you like.
When we were on a hike.
I don't even remember the time, but yeah, you like went out and said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of or got animated. And then the time that somebody hit Spencer when we were skiing up at Big White, and the snow, what do they call ski patrol?
Yeah.
Like gave Spencer a hard time, or like who was like 8 or 9 at the time.
He was little.
And Kristal was not having it.
No, and then he was like, "Give me your pass. You've just lost your pass for the rest of the season."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I didn't." Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if it's like if you're messing with people I love, then I'm but most of the time I'm like very calm and I like,
well, it's usually you're you're more on the other side. You're like confrontation averse.
You're ready to have confrontation at times when it matters.
And when it matters, for sure. And
and
a lot of the time though, and I don't know, bugs me because I'll have confrontations and then I'll feel bad about it. And I'll like, and then I'll end up, seeking the person out just so I could like apologize or make things right so I can have a clear conscience.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of the way they acted, but like I'm in charge of the way I acted. So, and then after I'm like, oh, why do I? Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. If I could have dinner with any celebrity, who do you think I'd choose? And what question would I ask them? A celebrity. Yeah, I don't even think, I personally don't
Me as well.
like
we've talked about
seeing
this.
celebrities out in public. Like
Do you see a lot of celebrities out in
No,
public?
but I have. And like, I don't, like, I would never go up to a celebrity and just, I don't know, like, because I just feel like they're trying to live their life and do their thing. And like, maybe if the opportunity came up but I don't know, still, like, I don't fangirl over celebrities because like, they're just people. Now, if we were like sitting beside a celebrity at a restaurant or something and like we struck up an organic conversation, I'd totally pretend like I didn't have any idea who they were.
I think it's different too, though.
Maybe not.
I think it's different, like celebrities, because they're on a what do you call it? Reality TV show is different from like Elton John or like somebody who's a celebrity because they're incredibly gifted in something, music or acting or something like that, right?
Yes.
Like, and I think that's different. Because we've came across a lot of different like reality TV or YouTube or something like that, and it's just like, no.
Yeah, they're just regular people, right? Yeah.
But like if I was out at a restaurant and Kendrick Lamar was sitting next to me,
would you be like, "Hey, will you FaceTime with me so I can FaceTime my daughter?"
Yeah, I'd probably like squabble up and say, "Hey man,
what's up, Kendrick?" Okay. If I had a free day all to myself, what's one thing I'd absolutely have to do?
Tan.
Yeah.
Lay in bed.
I like sitting out by the pool.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the time of the year.
Yeah.
If it was like winter, then, comfy in bed, watching a documentary or something like that. If it's the middle of summer, tanning.
Yeah.
She, a couple weeks ago, went and pulled our teen daughter out of school and let her skip school so the two of them could lay by the pool and tan.
Okay.
Mom of the year.
Okay. 2 days before, she was like, Mom, it's going to be a UV of 8 on Friday. Do I have to go to school? And I'm like, yeah, you have to. That's ridiculous. But then I was like, you know what? So I went and picked her up at 12 and we went and sat by the pool for a couple hours, and it was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hold on to those moments. Are you done with all your questions?
No.
No.
Would you rather spend a week stranded with me on a deserted island?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't
I'm not
go.
even going to ask that. Or with a favorite celebrity.
No.
No.
Ew.
Kristal's
I'd way rather be with you.
Yeah.
Wait, do I get a hall pass if it's with a celebrity? That's a terrible thing to ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
No,
not even
you.
gonna respond to that
Okay,
question.
I'd rather be with you. Yes.
Would you rather plan a surprise date for me or let me plan one for you?
Oh, wait.
But you don't get to know what it is until we're there.
No, I'd way rather you
Yeah. But
surprise me. That's
with
one thing.
dinner and a movie.
Yeah, that's one thing you always have been like when the first kind of, you don't do it as much anymore, but you used to surprise me all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I loved that. But you don't do it as much anymore. I think it's hard to surprise someone when you're like with each other.
Mm-hmm. I used to surprise you with gifts though. And as we've gotten more secure in our relationship, Kristal's pretty honest with what she likes, and I'm a really good gift getter, but I think I would rather just like for the most part now, like if I'm getting you something, I would rather just like talk to you about it.
I know, but for me it's like, you know what it is? It's not that I'm like, oh, I don't like that thing. It's like I think, oh, you spent money on that and I don't like absolutely love it. But I've actually shifted my thinking with that. Are you paying attention to me?
Mm-hmm. I can hear you without looking at you. You know that, right?
But now I've changed my way of thinking, and I'm like, and if you get me something, I'm like, oh, he thought about me and he like picked it out and it's right from him. And so I'm just going to love it no matter what. So you can, saying that, you can surprise me now.
All right. Would you rather give me full control of the TV remote for a month or never get to choose where we eat for a year?
That's a dumb question.
That is a stupid question.
I don't care about either. Okay, next one.
Yeah, again, for Kristal, like she would let me pick anything we watched if it meant us spending time together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same with like where we eat.
Yeah.
For the both of us.
Yeah. I don't like making decisions personally.
What do you want? What do you want? I send her that meme of I've sent it to you quite a bit from The Notebook.
The Notebook, yeah. And she's like, I don't know. It's not
What
that
do you
simple.
want for dinner?
Yeah.
Would you rather relive our first date every week or skip straight to the honeymoon phase of our relationship?
No.
Why?
No.
First date was great.
No, stop.
I won't tell everything, but we had talked on the phone. We had met already previously. I went to her birthday party, and she was still married at the time, new baby, and obviously there was no. I'm not gonna say anything bad.
You just said she was still married at the time.
You were still married, and I didn't do anything, and I was like dating somebody else.
Oh, that part of the story. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
and it wasn't until months later that I had heard that you and your husband split up and you were going through a tough time, and I like reached out to, see if there's anything I could do.
if there's anything he could do.
And anyway, so then we started talking because you were in a very, in a tough spot and talking. And then because I was working out of town and I came back into town and we decided we were going to go out for dinner and I met you. We went to this pub in Port Coquitlam and we ate dinner and then I ordered dessert and I ordered a big glass of milk, which I found out after really
it gave me the ick.
Threw you off.
Yeah.
I used to love milk though, especially with like my desserts. Like if I was
you ordered like
cake.
You ordered like a chocolate cake, and then you're like, and you'd always order it like this. You'd be like, "Could I get a big glass of cold milk?" Cold milk. It was like, what? They're gonna like go back there and put it on ice for you?
Like lukewarm milk.
Yeah, that's gross.
Is it needed to be cold. And then I ate my dessert and I don't know why I did this, but I felt very comfortable, obviously, and I slipped my shoes off and put my feet up on the chair next to her, which just with my socks on. Apparently that threw her off as well.
Have you ever taken your shoes off in a restaurant since?
Probably.
Really?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know. I mean, I must have done something right because it wasn't more than an hour later that you were, that you said to me, "Are you going to kiss me or what?"
I did.
You totally did. You looked at me in my truck and you're like, "Are you going to kiss me or what?"
Oh my gosh,
And
that's so embarrassing. But can I just say, that was the best kiss I've ever had.
Yep.
It was the best kiss I've ever had, and I still love kissing you.
Okay.
It's the best. But
You're embarrassing me.
But can I just say, also, I don't even like you wearing
Sandals.
closed-toed shoes to a restaurant.
You don't like me wearing closed-toed shoes to a
Oh, is
restaurant?
it that
Fine.
I'm not closed-toed?
You heard it here,
Sandal-
folks.
No.
Because this is a big argument.
No,
I always want to wear sandals.
Sandals to a restaurant.
Oh.
I don't know. I just don't like it.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like my feet aren't.
No. You've got nice. He takes care of his feet. He really takes care of his feet.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we got through all the questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that's kind of about it. We're well over time. So,
Oh, are we really?
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know that I am an adopted ally. I really am.
An adoptee ally.
Adoptee ally. And from the first week that I knew Kristal, I saw that her being adopted, shaped who she was, shaped the person that she was, and didn't really realize it, but over the years, the trauma that came along with it. And so we kid around about it, and that's where her documentary name came from and whatnot. And we do joke around. That's kind of our banter. But that being said, I am a big ally, and
you support
100%
what I'm doing, and
I'm your biggest fan.
Actually, one thing we didn't touch on was we went to the Adoption, the Making of Me live recording podcast in California in March together with Sarah and Louise, and I was invited to be on the panel, and Stu came with, and it was such a special event for me. I'd never been in a room like that with all adoptees before. Mm-hmm. And I think
special, emotional.
It was.
So much was going on. It was neat for me too. And I was kind of a bit of not an outsider, but I just hung back and listened. But what a neat event. And we've made some friends that, are,
we'll be lifelong friends.
Our friend Chris Williams.
Yes.
Who
He's going to be on the podcast this month.
And he was the special guest for the podcast that they did. And he's a comedian, an amazing comedian in Santa Barbara. And he's going to be coming to Kelowna next week.
Yeah.
Which we're super excited about. But I've also asked him to be the host of our charity golf tournament that we do every year in Kelowna. So he's going to come back in September and host it. But yeah, so like he's never been to Canada before.
Yes.
So we're really excited about that.
So actually me and one of my good friends, Sarah, we're going to show up, pick him up from the airport with Canadian flags and a big sign that says "Welcome to Canada." As though he's like from very, very far away or something.
Totally.
And so we have this whole plan. I haven't told you about that.
Yeah.
Yet, but
yeah, I can't remember we were texting a couple weeks ago, and something along the lines of, because I had asked him if he had been to Canada before, and he had said no. And I was like prepping him for like, well, this is the place if you like maple syrup and I don't know, I can't remember, polar bears.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So do you want to tell a little bit about your yearly golf tournament that you hold?
Sure. Yeah. We do a tournament. It used to be a golf tournament that my mom participated in and was at, and it was always in support of the Parkinson's Society of BC. Some of you may know that my mom had Parkinson's, and she passed away a few years ago, and we turned it into a memorial tournament, still partnering with the Parkinson's Society of BC, but just kind of, raising money and awareness about the disease. It's the first Thursday in September every year at the beautiful Harvest Golf Course in Kelowna, and we usually have about 120 players from all over, North America.
If you're local, this episode will probably be afterwards, but if you are local, we do it every year.
Yeah.
It's called the Agnes Park Memorial Golf Tournament, and it's a great time, and it's a great way to keep your mom's memory alive.
For sure.
And
it's the feedback that I get is it's the highlight of everybody's year coming to the tournament. And last year we partnered with Adidas, so everybody showed up to golf, and they had a brand new pair they picked prior, a brand new pair of golf shoes sitting on the cart waiting for them. And it was so funny to see, it was just like all these adults, grown men, women, walking around in their brand new shoes.
Yeah,
just so excited about them. So this year we've actually partnered with Oakley, and Oakley's going to be out there, and everybody's going to pick a pair of sunglasses to take home with them. So
That's
we do
awesome.
stuff like that. But
cool.
Anyways.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode with Stewart and myself. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
I know we've been wanting to do this for a while, so.
I know. Yeah. It was really nice to spend this time with you, Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And okay. All right. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and we will see you next time.